if you've been around for any amount of time, then you know that I am not here for the digital world. I am the planner, notebook, pen and paper kind of gal. I love my Erin Condren. I love just notebooks in general. I literally was on vacation writing in my journal the other day, and I was outside and it was all quiet and it was raining, and I legitimately wrote, is there anything better than a quiet morning, a fresh cup of coffee, and a blank sheet of paper? The answer is no. No, there's not. However, I have come around a little bit to the digital age, and specifically I have been using an app, a system. I have been using a program that I have really been liking to help organize my life a little bit, and I do really love it. So I wanted to talk to you today about how I am using Evernote for my TPT shop. I might do another video where it's more like kind of all like Evernote, how I use it kind of stuff. But today I specifically want to talk about like what I'm doing in my TPT shop in Evernote. So if you're not familiar, Evernote is an app and a program that you can use. You can use it for free, and it basically is like a digital notebook, and it's set up like that. So you have notes, and your notes go in your notebook, and your notebooks go in stacks, and everything is all nice and organized, and you can search for things, and it's pretty fabulous. So basically every time I have a thought that's related to TPT or really anything, I can whip out my phone and I can stick it in Evernote, and then I'm not losing it writing it down in random notebooks like this one where I wrote the notes for this video, because you know, I still do prefer paper and pencil. But I have really liked Evernote because I was having problems with, again, writing things down in random notebooks and then losing them. And then the other thing is I used to keep my content calendar specifically in my bullet journal, but my bullet journal doesn't come with me. So if it's lunchtime and I'm thinking, oh, hey, that would be a good video idea, or oh, I need to like move something around, I can't do that because I'm at work and I don't have my bullet journal at work. And so that was something that I was really struggling with, or I'd be like out somewhere and need to look at it for some reason, and I was having a hard time with that. So I have migrated just a couple of things to Evernote, and it's been pretty life-changing, I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna do a video about like the whole system, but for today we're just talking how I use it for TPT. There's 3 specific ways that I am doing it for that. One is for ideas, one is for content calendars, and then one is sometimes for a product creation checklist. So we're gonna talk about each of those 3 things and how you can use Evernote as well. Like I said, Evernote actually is free. I do actually pay for it, and here's the reason why, and why I picked Evernote over other note-taking systems. Like Notion's a really big one, and I know like a lot of people use like Asana for more like things. Trello's a huge one. But the reason I picked Evernote specifically is because if you do the upgraded like paid feature, they have this really cool feature where you can scan in PDFs and it can read them. So I can scan in a PDF that I got, and then I can search for something, and if that word is in that PDF, it'll pop up. And what really sold me is that it can read your handwriting. So me, the notebook queen, I like to write in notebooks. And so when I write in a notebook, but I want to make sure I don't lose it, I actually write in my notebook and then I scan it into Evernote. And that has been the biggest game changer to me because it can read it. Seriously, the other day I needed to like double check conversion rates. I typed in conversion rate and it popped up a handwritten thing by me, and it wasn't written super neatly, and it can read my cursive, at least maybe not everyone's cursive, but it could read my cursive. And it was just like the most magical thing in the whole wide world. So highly recommend that you check out Evernote. I don't like get anything, but I like them, and it's been really life-changing to me, so I wanted to share. So I am going to screen record so you can see what I'm talking about. So when you go into Evernote, you have like your little home page. You can change this a little bit. So like I have a picture of my dogs. There's a little scratch pad thing. I don't really know what that's for. They have suggested notes, which are like the most recent ones, recently captured. Oh, I might show you that one, because another thing I like about Evernote is that I can add everything. Like I can add text, and I can add links, and I can scan things, and I can add pictures, and like there's a lot of stuff like that that's helpful. And then there's shortcuts. I don't use the calendar feature at all. And then these little things right here are my stacks. So they kind of look like stacks of notebooks, which is great. And when you click on them, then you can find things. So if I click on projects, then these are all of my notebooks under projects. Why do I apparently I only have 2. Okay. Most of my stuff is under areas, and that is a Tiago Forte para method thing that we'll talk about on another day. But for right now, you can see I just click on areas and then it pops up with all of my stacks. I have numbers just because I want to keep those in the correct order. And you can see I most recently been using this for lesson planning, which is great. That's what I use it for right now, because I can't think in terms of the way they want you to write lesson plans. And then we get to the parts that are important to you. Oh, I guess I had 4. One's not very exciting. So I have some things in here that are all about content and all about ideas. So idea generation is one thing that y'all, okay, so my first thing is ideas. Idea generation is one of the biggest thing that y'all ask me about, and one of the biggest thing I tell you is the most important thing about idea generation and coming up with ideas for product or for content is to write them all down. If you have an idea, put it down, because if you don't, it just like flies into the universe and then it's never coming back to you, or it comes back like when you're in the shower or in the middle of the night, and it's not helpful. So I just went and I just searched ideas. Honestly, I find the search bar to be more helpful than anything else. And when it pops up, you can see the first thing here is Becca's music room content. And so these are some ideas I had for content that I might want to create. So videos, and blogs is really what I mean by that. So I have the ideas for content, and I also keep ideas for products as well. So I just have these in here, and you can just click off things that you have done so that it's really easy to see. And that's really helpful because, again, it's one of those things that if I'm sitting at work, it's lunchtime, or I'm, you know, out somewhere and I have an idea, I can write it down. And that is the most important thing, is having an idea and writing it down. And since I got Evernote, I have been trying to put all my ideas in here instead of like some in my bullet journal and some in my random journals at work and some, you know, in my phone and different things like that. So I'm just trying to be really intentional about making sure I put them all in the same place so that I have those things. And you can make little check boxes so you can check them off when you've done them. You can do other things and, like, you know, make it a little more interesting. But yeah, that's the first thing you can do. Number 2 is I actually have been keeping my content calendar in Evernote. So for this one, I'm also going to look for content calendar. And when I click on my content calendar, you can see what this looks like. I need to update it a little bit, but basically I just went to like templates and I added these calendars in. I didn't create them, they already existed. And then once I had it in here, I can add things. So you can see I have a little key here. So basically when I decide on a post I'm gonna do, so when I decide on a post I'm gonna do, then I write it down in the box on the day. So I have Sundays are when I post here. Wednesdays are when my videos for Becca's music room are supposed to go out. They don't always go out on Wednesdays, but there we are. And Thursdays is when my blog posts go out for Becca's music room. So that's why those are duplicated, because I do a video and a blog post together. So you can see I have the video here and then the blog post here. These are actually already done. I just didn't come back and fill it in. So what I do is you can actually change the color. So I just click on the little arrow thing and I change the color. So if it is a video and it's filmed, or it's a blog post and it's written, then it gets the lighter color. And then once it is done and scheduled and completely ready to go, then it gets the brighter color. And that just gives me a little bit of help of like where I am in conjunction to, you know, all of these things. And so I can see like, oh, hey, my low, oh, I think this one's actually blog and this is video. Maybe that's right. Because I know my low prep centers product is done, or blog post is done, but I don't think the video is done. So I know I started the blog, I haven't like scheduled it yet, and I haven't started the video yet. So that's something that I'm gonna need to do rather soon. So that is how I have been keeping track of things, and then I can just delete calendars, you know, all at a time. And it's a lot easier when I need to change things around, because writing them down, I hate pencils, so I always use pen. I was using the friction pens for a while, but you know, the 7th and 8th time you erase something, it gets a bit old. So I like having this because I can easily move things around. And if you're familiar, I used to keep my content calendar like a desk calendar with sticky notes, which was great, but I'm not sitting at my desk most of the time. So that was one of the biggest things. I was like, I need something mobile, because I'd be sitting on the couch and I can't see my content calendar, or I'd be, you know, out somewhere and I need to look and I can't find it. So that has been really helpful for me. It's just a really easy way to do my content calendar, and I can change things around much more easily. And so yeah, So for Evernote, you can use it for keeping your ideas. You can use it for your content calendar. You can also use it as a product creation checklist. So for this, I would just go to new, note, and then go through and add whatever you need. And so you can see it has like some suggested templates that you can show, and it'll go there. So if you're making maybe like I know I need to do a STEAM unit on stars. I swear I can spell. So in my STEAM unit about stars, I know that I'm going to need lesson plans, and then I can add either here, this makes it like a task, and you can assign it like a day and stuff like that, but I don't use that. You can also click the plus button and you can make it a checkbox if I hadn't done that, and you can add that. There's also all of these things that you can add. So you can add a link, you can add tables or dividers or different things like that. I frankly just think it's easiest to do a list. So if I'm like, okay, I need to do, or maybe I want to write it like this. So we do like, yeah, well, I need a lesson plan. And then I know I need to include some songs. So we're gonna include Star Festival, and we're gonna include Starlight. And then I know we need to do like a constellation section, and so I can add constellation because I know I'm going to want the kids to read rhythms to reveal a constellation. I also want them to make a constellation. Again, don't steal my ideas, but we're gonna do where they make their own constellation and they add rhythms to each one. And so we read the rhythms like that, and they have to conduct it and come up and like point to everything. So students make constellations with rhythms, and I know I need to build up to that. So I might do like revealing a constellation, and then I might do like adding rhythms to constellations, and then have them make their own, because you know, sequencing. So basically you can just do it this way, and then when you finish something off, you can check it off. Or if you prefer to make it like a table, there's all those different options that you can do when you click right there. And then if you had like links, like maybe when you're finished, you can link to your product. You can also attach things from your Google Drive. It won't let me do that when I'm on the little task. You can attach things from Google Drive. You can add audio recordings. Like there's a lot of different options. You could add images if you're trying to like decide how you want it to look. There's a lot of different options that you can do there, and it's great. It's great. So I highly recommend it for that reason. Now, the last thing that I actually use Evernote for, specific to the business, is specific to what we need to do right now, outlines. So you can see I have video outlines, I have Becca's music room outlines, I have Becca Davis vlogs outlines, because I have lots of different things. So this one is for TPT. And so that way, again, if I'm standing in line at a grocery store, I have 5 minutes, I can outline my next video and I have it there. Or if I'm at lunch, I often will outline videos at lunch and then forget to bring them home, which is super great and something that's happened many times. And so this way, then I just have that. And so this isn't like revolutionary, you know, like, oh, outline your videos, outline your blog posts, but it is really helpful. And the biggest thing I would say about using Evernote recently is that I have been really impressed and loving that it's portable. I love that I still feel like I can use all my like analog stuff and I can scan it in so I don't lose anything. And then I really have been appreciating just having everything in one space. If you're like me and you have notes apps and Google Drive and this and that and like all the different things, it is really helpful to just have everything in one lovely place. And I love Google Drive, and that's where I keep all like my files and stuff, but it wasn't working for this. Like, yeah, you can make a, you know, I guess you could do, you know, yeah, you can make a Google Doc and add things there, and I do that a lot, but it just, I don't know, it just wasn't quite the same. So I'm really liking this. I have used it for tables, I've used it for budgeting, I have used it for everything, but those are a couple different ways that I have used it specifically for TPT. If you want to learn more about all of the things, let me know down below and I can tell you a little bit more about like all the different ways I'm using Evernote and how much it's changed my life, and we can just nerd out about it and how it's organized and all that good stuff. I'm definitely not like super up there. There's some people who are like really into it, like know all the tricks, and I do not know all the tricks. I'm a learn as you go kind of person, so I have learned what I needed to know, and I have just really been loving it so far. So that's a couple different reasons that you can use Evernote, especially if you're an analog person. And yeah, let me know down below. Do you use a note-taking app? Do you use this one? Do you use a different one? What you use? Let me know. I'm really curious now. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.